Hello there everybody, this is General Snivy and welcome back to more Let's Play The Last Remnant. Today we are finally going to be fighting and taking down the Fallen. And the Fallen is the most infamous side quest in the game amongst many players of this game, including myself. But we're not going to be fighting it straight away. First off, we're actually going to be fighting some rare monsters because why not? Well, in all actuality, I'm just showing rare monsters that I encountered during my travels when I'm going out and collecting remnants that corresponded to certain side quests now that we have the Tablet of Marshal. Kind of like how I grabbed the rubber soul at the end of the last video. And also the dead heart. And that was because I completed that side quest and I got the dead heart as a reward. Which is nice. Because I like rewards. Because it gives you value, a reason to play and play again and again. So yeah. First up on our list of remnants that we can pick up, it's located right here in Blackdale, within the first part of Blackdale. And if you may or may not know, or more or less you may or may not know, but this area was completely blocked off during the story when we first had to go down here to see if we could rescue Arena due to some suspicious activities near Athlum. But now that those events are over, we can now access this area freely, even though there really isn't much here other than just a party of monsters. So, really, they're just easy prey for you to take out. And now that we have the Tablet of Marshal in hand, we can now grab this remnant without any sort of repercussions at all. Really. And there aren't any side quests that I know of that are tied to this remnant, so yeah, feel free to take this as soon as you get the Tablet of Marshal. With this, we get the Skip Noah. I think. Yeah, I think it is the Skip Noah, or Skip Noah. Yeah, we get this nice little spear. It's a nice spear and it's actually made for Jagger. So while we're out on the world map, he'll actually ask for it. You're free to give it to him if you want, or you can keep it for yourself. It is a very powerful weapon / remnant. So yeah, it's definitely worth an upgrade if you want to upgrade it and if you actually can upgrade it. You can obviously do this before Jagger takes it, or you can just give it to him and not worry about it at all. Now for the next remnant. This remnant is located within the Irvania Peaks. Yeah, remember this place? One of the first few fields that we went through? Well, this remnant too is tied to a certain side quest, but this side quest was completed a long time ago, so no need to worry about it now. And the side quest I'm referring to, I think it's known, I can't remember the name of it, but I know it involves Violet and Gabrielle. And I think it involves their chain of side quests, so you have to complete them before you grab this remnant. Otherwise the quests will disappear. So just a fair warning for you all right now. Now for the next remnant, it's located within the ruins of Rebellia Castle. This particular remnant is tied to Ragos' chain of side quests, back when we had to go and rescue Kate, or more or less bring her back from the dead. But before we grab that remnant, we're going to be fighting this bandit, because fighting bandits is awesome, we can get a nice reward out of it. Plus, I can show off something that I have not been able to do throughout this entire Let's Play. However, I've been on the receiving end of it for the most part. And this mighty power is none other than a massive strike. Oh yeah, we're finally going to be dishing out the massive strikes against the enemy. How awesome is that? So let's go over massive strikes again, just in case you skipped ahead or you missed it. Now, how massive strikes are performed, you have to have 5 unions, all 5 unions set up, And it works like this. First, one unit has to engage the enemy like normal. The next unit has to be able to flank the enemy from the left or the right. Then the next unit, the third one, has to also flank and flank from the other direction. The fourth union comes in and performs a rear assault. And finally, the fifth union performs a massive strike. Now for the next turn, the main force engages the enemy like normal. All other opposing forces engaging the enemy now have the benefit of always having a massive strike so long as they don't break deadlock. So yeah, that's massive strikes in a nutshell, I guess. That's how to perform them. You gotta love them massive strikes though when you're the one dealing them out. When you're on the receiving end, well then your goose is most likely cooked. If you know what I mean. Now for the bandit himself, he isn't that hard to take out, especially for the sheer fact you can perform massive strikes on him again and again. He is respawnable too, so yeah. You can make good use of this. Really get some easy gold and also work on your skills too. Along with a certain dragon within Crook then, I think he's known as By Z or something? I have no idea. Whatever, he's useful, and so is this bandit. Kind of. I mean, this isn't coming from a guy who has completely mastered this game by any means. No. This is just coming from someone who's played this game a lot. But not to the extent of true veterans who know how to play the game properly. Now with that, we're pretty much finished here. Just gotta go through the ruins of Rebellia Castle in the basement of the underground tier. Collect the remnant that has been sitting here since the very end of that one side quest we had to perform with Rago. And we'll be on our way. Just be sure to complete Rago's chain of side quests first, otherwise his chain of side quests will disappear after collecting this remnant. Which would be unfortunate. And why would you not want Rago anyway? Rago, I would say, is a pretty good unit. He really is. Especially if you keep him within your permanent party, if you can catch my drift. And with that, that's pretty much all the remnants. Yeah, that is all the remnants that we can collect now. All Tablet of Marshal remnants are ours, which I've actually never done before, but whatever. It is done. We collected them all, and we're ready for this side quest. Or at least, so I thought, when I first took this on. We're ready now to fight the one, the only, the infamous beast that's been haunting my dreams, known only as the Fallen. The Fallen, oh man, it's got quite a history. But first, let's talk about it, kind of. In order for this side quest to... Wait, there aren't any requirements for this side quest to be triggered. There really isn't. For this side quest, we do gain one extra person to help us out with the cause of fighting the Fallen. But really, he's more or less a liability. This guy who I'm referring to is Wingale, by the way. He joins our party to take on the Fallen, because for some reason he's bound by the Fallen and chained to it, and we gotta set him free. And here we go, the Fallen, the Fallen, the Fallen, the Fallen. Oh my frickin' god. Oh my god, I hate this thing so much. The Fallen, I kept track, by the way, took 52 frickin' attempts to kill. And I just got plain lucky. Because the Fallen can be one of two things. It can be either a complete joke and not even a challenge at all, or it could be your worst nightmare. For me, it was the latter. Why is this, you ask? Well, this is because none of my units or unions learned a certain spell. This spell, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I think it's known as Cachexia or something like that. I know the name of the spell begins with a C. It's a hex spell, and I think it's the most powerful hex spell. And that's according to the last Remnant wiki. What it does, it drains enemy union AP down to 0 for the turn so long as they actually make a move. And that's how you can turn the Fallen into a bloody joke, because it wouldn't be able to do hardly any of its attacks other than just plain attack you physically. Now for the Fallen itself. The Fallen, what can I say about it? It hits really, really hard. It has certain attacks at the end of each turn, and these attacks are not randomized. They are not. They are all listed within the last Remnant wiki, and he always casts them within a certain number of turns. First turn is Divine Retribution, which is, I think that's a mystic attack. If not, it's physical. I can't remember. Dang it. Well, who cares? I don't freaking care. Now more facts about the Fallen. The Fallen, you have 10 turns to defeat this thing. Why is this? I have no idea. But after turn 10, and if you don't defeat it within that time frame, the Fallen will use an attack known as Armageddon and completely decimate the entire battlefield and thus cause a game over. I'll actually show this off at the end of the video, by the way. During this time frame of when I was preparing to fight the Fallen repeatedly, in between attempts and stuff like that, I did my best to perform like a second to best PC ultimate grind by going through the ruins of Rebellia Castle and fighting landworms again and again. But I got bored of that and decided to go through the 6th path. While I was there, I collected all the treasures that I needed to, and I also fought as many monsters as possible. And that's basically how I got my unions the way they are. Not only that, but I also worked on my abilities greatly, and shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, now I remember. I also recruited some new party members. One of them is probably one of the most popular units within any player's union lineup of this game. However, he's not here playing within this party because I chose not to use him. Not for this one. I will show him off eventually though. And that's going to be in the next video actually. Now for strategies of fighting the Fallen, I really can't offer much of a strategy. I'd say go with small numbers if you can. The way I divided my unions up, I have one union specifically made for attacking and hitting this SOB as hard as possible within a single turn. The next union I primarily focused on mystic arts, at least that's what I tried to do, but well, nonetheless they turn into another attacking force too. And one more union, the third one, is specifically made for healing. Healing unions in between turns if they can stay alive. And that healing union is none other than Arena. While I made this union, during several unsuccessful attempts of fighting the Fallen, I learned that Arena can actually learn Rejuvenating Waters, which is one of the best healing spells in the game and one of the best healing Arcanas too. So yay, new Arcana spell, and I actually managed to show it off during this successful attempt of the fight. During other unsuccessful attempts, I did try to adjust the union's abilities to only focus on super hard hitting abilities that highly consumed AP. But I mean, it has worked out relatively well, but still for this one, I just got plain lucky. The Fallen will use 2 main attacks and the course attack itself. Well, as far as attacking you physically. The first attack that I'm going to be referring to is known as... It's not Armageddon, isn't it? It's known as Appocolipse, that's it, it's Appocolipse. Appocolipse is a multi-union attack, and it is very dangerous. It can screw you over majorly, especially in hard mode. Because sometimes it'll attack one union and all the other unions are all lined up ready to fight, and it's like blick, the entire force is wiped out in one fell swoop. Now the next other attack that I'm going to be referring to, which is also very dangerous and annoying to deal with, is known as Hand of God. Hand of God, oh my god. It not only hits your unions hard, but also has a high chance of insta-killing them. Safe to say, well, the Fallen also gains the ability of insta-kill, even with its regular physical attack. However, the chances of that are, well, they're actually pretty high. I'm going to say roughly around 40%, but that's just me talking out of my ass. And that's just a pure guess. But that's just my experience when fighting the Fallen. So general strategies for fighting the Fallen: make up special teams for fighting this thing, have members dedicated to certain tasks, and just do what you can to deal as much damage as possible. One other thing I will mention: around turn 9, the Fallen will use 1 or 2 abilities, depending on how much damage you dealt to it by the time you reach that turning point. Around turn 9, the Fallen will use Life Spring and completely heal its HP. That is, unless you make it use Miracle when you drop its HP below 30%. Once you get this thing down to less than 30% HP, then you know you're ready to bring this SOB down. Just be sure to survive long enough in order to deal with Miracle, of course. When the Fallen uses Miracle, it will not use Life Spring, which is an absolute plus, because when it uses Life Spring, you might as well just hit reset, because it's over by that point. There will be no way in hell you'll be able to deal that much damage back at the Fallen and pretty much kill it instantaneously within that single turn. The only way for that to happen is if every single unit would, oh, I don't know, counterattack and hit him hard. And I mean hard. Oh my god. So yeah, the Fallen basically, without Cachexia or whatever the heck the name of the spell is, it's all a luck. It's basically a luck-based battle. And you just gotta pray to God that you can nail this SOB as hard as you can without getting screwed over by Armageddon or Appocolipse. Yeah, Appocolipse. Just pray you don't get screwed over big time. Here's a fun fact for you. Originally, I was gonna release this video like... well, it was gonna be like this. The contrast was originally too high when it came to this fight. I noticed this while watching this back at least a couple of times, and it's like, wow, why is the contrast so high? I only added it like once, and it's different when it's on other video recordings. Well, I actually finally figured this out not too long ago, and it goes like this. Turns out the MP4 versions of these videos, they have slightly less contrast than their AVI counterparts. I know this because I was forced to use the AVI version of the fight against the Fallen because The MP4 version, for some reason, didn't work with Vegas. I mean, the video codec is the same with Vegas as opposed to the other ones. Come on! Why can't I use it when it comes to this particular recording as opposed to the other ones? I don't get it. It's like Vegas is such a picky child. Like, sometimes it'll eat spinach and other times it won't. It's just weird. Now here, I was like really trying to think hard, like what am I to do? When you get the Fallen flashing red, you know you're almost finished. You're almost there. You got to push harder. But you also have to keep your unions alive long enough to deal the amount of damage necessary before the final turn. So yeah, just really thinking long and hard. Please don't take that the wrong way. But it is a legitimate strategy. Just really think about your next move, because it can determine whether you win or lose. One other thing I will mention, I changed Rush's equipment around. Instead of wielding the Sword of 7, I actually gave him one of my other weapons, and I actually upgraded it too. And I also forged myself a new shield too, which I think is probably the best shield in the game. I'm not really sure, but it is a very powerful shield nonetheless. And if I would play through this game again, I could definitely forge the weapon again, which would be really nice. There's one more thing that I will mention as well. You can silence and paralyze the Fallen, however it will not stop its moves from happening. It's, these moves that happen at the end of each and every turn, unless you use Cachexia, in which case it would have insufficient AP to use those moves. Fun fact, on the Xbox 360 version of this game, you can actually prevent the final move, Armageddon, from happening by using Cachexia on it, and give yourself a little bit more time to fight the Fallen. However, in the PC version, they corrected this because what happened was Armageddon originally was 10 AP to cast. However, when the PC version came around, they changed the AP amount to use it to 0. So, yeah, this was to prevent players from bypassing the 10-turn limit of the Fallen. So you may have noticed now that the battlefield has changed to almost blood red. This means that you are on your last turn. You gotta go all out. And you have to play your cards right and pray that you don't get screwed over by a stupid attack, such as Appocolipse. Because Appocolipse can very easily screw you over, especially at this point in the fight. So, time to deal the final blow to the Fallen. Die! And at this point, I was screaming from the top of my lungs, yes, the Fallen is dead. Holy crap, it took forever. And I didn't freaking care that my mother was just outside my door. I really didn't freaking care. I was so happy to finally be rid of the Fallen once and for all. Also, fun fact, the Fallen has two relatives. Its brother, the Lost, and its father, the Demigod. And I hear they're even worse. And I've seen them too, and I looked them up on the last Remnant wiki. I even seen a couple of videos on fighting the Demigod and the Lost. However, they're not side quests, and they're actually just tied to guild tasks, so thank God for that. And because I won against the Fallen, I dance with joy by spinning around. Yay, spinning, cause spinning is awesome. And because I spun so many times, I make Rush like moonwalk, spinning around backwards. That that's just a sign of true happiness right there. One other fact I will point out is that during my in-between sessions of fighting the Fallen, I did achieve a few more parameter bonuses. One was with the Udobe, that little guy down there at the very bottom of the section. And I also achieved the parameter bonus for Roberto too. So yeah, achieved a few more parameter bonuses cause why not. And with that, since the Fallen has been defeated, Wingale is free to come with us, so we bring him along to the party because Wingale is actually a pretty good unit, just not by himself, and fighting against the Fallen, because he's more or less a liability. But now, not so much. He is free from the Fallen and he's free to journey with us. And so, after talking to Wingale, decided to dance around in front of him for a little bit, cause I'm so happy the Fallen is dead. I dance with joy and moonwalk like a boss. So with that, the Fallen is finally dead. We are now free to continue onward through the story at last and proceed onward to Underworld with no consequences at all. And one more thing before I go, I decided to show off my entire team of who fought the Fallen, what formations I used, what abilities did I have, what equipment did I use, etc, etc. Because I felt like it was only fitting that I do that, and I can't believe I didn't do it during that particular recording session. I guess because I was just too happy to finally be rid of the Fallen once and for all, I just completely forgot about it until just a few minutes later. Which is fine. I don't really care. The Fallen is dead. I know I sound like a broken record for saying that, but I don't care. Ding dong, the Fallen is dead. Which Fallen? That Fallen has fallen down the stairs while being chased by teddy bears. Did you catch that reference? Hope you did. If you did, then you're old enough to know.
Consider well the strength of the entire.
So with that, I'm pretty much done. I got really nothing else to say other than the Fallen is dead. I gotta stop saying that now. But I'll say it again in the next video. Oh, one other thing I need to mention. Roberto actually learned a unique weapon up. What? Roberto learned his own unique weapon art, which I will show off in the next video. And I actually made a separate video showing off that set ability. And it's quite an interesting one. And it's actually known as Snowbind. Snowbind is like the Gay Bold, except it's covering the entire battlefield in a winter wonderland. Which is nice. Very nice. And also very damaging. And it acts pretty much the same way as the Gay Bold, except I'm not sure if it gets cancelled out if Roberto and his team gets caught in the raid lock or not. Just not sure. I didn't look up any information about it. I just learned it, tried to use it, and that's what I found out. So with that, I'm done here. This is General Snivy with Let's Play The Last Remnant. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. Once again, thank you all so much for bearing with me for when I was fighting the Fallen. The Fallen, oh my god, I hate that thing so much. And I'm most certainly not looking forward to fighting its relatives, especially its brother, the Lost. But that's another tale for another time, and that's not gonna be until possibly years from now. Who knows? Now to conclude this video once and for all, time to show off Armageddon and end this thing. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Next time, we're going to be returning to the main story and making our way to Underworld and meet up with God Emperor. See y'all then.